I am no stranger to the rush that is landing on the deck of a foe's ship, cutlass and pistol in hand, ready to take on those who dare clash with my swords. Or the irresistible call of the mysterious open ocean, chartering poorly textured lands that few have dared to set foot on. Or the chaos-filled lobbies that comprise the ruthless and destructive naval battles, with the British side being forced to live up to their stereotypes, drinking tea to heal themselves. After I saw the first gameplay trailer way back in 2015 and then in 2017, I enthusiastically signed up to be a part of the Sea of Thieves alpha and managed to get my hands on a game key. Since then, I've seen the game change and grow into something entirely different than when I started playing. And in this video, I'm going to illustrate some of the things I have observed throughout my voyages. Sea of Thieves has an especially unique game design, something that few have tried to replicate. Thankfully, its genre hasn't become a bandwagon like the Battle Royale genre. Because of this, I was really interested in taking a deeper look into what makes Sea of Thieves so special. For those who don't know, Sea of Thieves is built around one central idea. Wake up in a tavern, set sail, find or steal treasure and loot, sail to the nearest outpost, sell loot, repeat. A very simple premise, sure. However, there's more to this than meets the eye. There are many other eager pirates and merchants keen to find the riches you two seek, and it's up to you to decide whether those riches come through a peaceful conjunction of an alliance or at the end of a cutlass. An often overlooked feature of the game's design is the way the devs have found a way to create a really interesting time dynamic, one that will be a reoccurring theme throughout this video. The central time dynamic is this. The longer you're away from the relative safety and security of an outpost, the more treasure and loot you collect, depending on how productive your crew is. Now, you can sail to an island, dig up one chest of gold, then sail back to the outpost over and over. But, one sec, let me explain something else. The Sea of Thieves map is big. It takes a long time to do pretty much anything. For context, here's the entire map, and there's a sloop for scale. I also decided to calculate how long it would take an average sloop to travel across one of these 676 tiles. It took me about 45 seconds, meaning that if you wanted to travel the entire length of this map, it would take you roughly, depending on wind conditions, 19.5 minutes. To illustrate this dynamic when other game elements are introduced, I picked up a standard Gold Hoarder's quest and set off. This one voyage took me half an hour to complete. Not a terribly long amount of time, but not insignificant either. Say you decide you prefer to sink some other player's ship and take their hard-earned loot off their hands, you may be looking at a battle or a chase that goes on for a similar length of time. This is where that time mechanic comes into play. See, if you were to just hand in your loot chest by chest, sailing back and forth from all your missions, you would effectively be wasting time traveling far too much relative to how much gold and rep you were bringing in. While safe, this is a very ineffective strategy. So, what most players do is they load up their ships with as much loot as they can carry, often stacking up several missions or fortress runs at a time. This allows for minimal time traveling between the outposts and a large reward at the end of their voyage. This is also way more satisfying than that. Then, Rare introduced the Reapers Guild, those who choose visibility on other players' maps in exchange for the chance to get more gold and rep. Some may argue that the Reapers have a distinct advantage, as any loot they collect can be sold to the Reapers' representative, the Servant of the Flame. Because they don't have to divide up their collected loot to sell to multiple vendors, they're able to level up much faster than other guilds. On top of that, when they get to a level 5 emissary status, they can use their map to see those who choose to raise a different emissary flag. Because Rare has balanced out the Reapers with a singular outpost in the entire map, if a Reaper ship is out hunting and finds loot they want to sell, it could be a very long way back, with lots of opportunities for them to get accosted by those who seek their treasure. Put simply, if you choose to fly the Reaper emissary, it's high risk, but very high reward. So, the Reaper adds an important element into the central time dynamic of the game system, as it introduces a player-controlled ship that incentivizes players specifically to hunt down other players and sink them. This PvP cat versus mouse-esque incentive, coupled with the already present hazards of the sea, like the Kraken and skeleton ships, makes sailing the seas go from being hazardous to downright dangerous in parts. Because of this added pressure, it forces players to make even more complex decisions, pressuring them into determining how long they're willing to gamble the safety of their loot with the chance of getting more. This game takes forever to do anything. I've sat down some evenings at 7 to do a single voyage and I'll get off at 2 a.m. and I'm still on the same voyage. And no, it's not because I'm bad at the game. I promise. That may have been a bit of an exaggeration, but I hope you get the point. It's so easy to get sidetracked and distracted that play sessions can go on for ages. I was in a lobby with some randoms recently, and one person said that they had to get off in 15 minutes, to which the rest of our crew responded, well, you may as well get off. 15 minutes is hardly any time to do anything. To put that in perspective, you could speedrun Rec Room in a third of that time. It's true. As fun as Sea of Thieves is, it's a game that you need to set aside large chunks of time if you want to have a productive and enjoyable time. This is actually something I've seen in the official Sea of Thieves forums, from 4 years ago, mind you, with people complaining about similar things, indicating that they want to play the game, but are limited by not only the amount of time you need to sink into a game session, but also the progression as a whole. Some may not see this as a negative thing, which is fair. Many people, like myself, love throwing hours into games. But if your lifestyle can't accommodate putting 2 to 5 hours into a game, it can prevent you from taking part in what is otherwise an incredible game experience. Put simply, although they can often only be experienced through long game sessions, all of these features and roles players can take on come together to form an incredibly dynamic and nuanced gameplay experience. Players are constantly gambling with their decisions and trying to strategically plan to ensure the hard work and hours they put into fighting for their treasure is not in vain. Personally, I really enjoy putting hours into the game, and I often find myself losing track of time and thinking the 4 hours I played were only 2. I also love the rush of excitement and sometimes fear, depending on what's below your decks, you feel when you spot another vessel on the horizon, and the frantic planning of your crew to determine whether you should stay the course or go to a different island. Unless you're grinding a specific mission, every play session is unique, offering different encounters, the thrill of battle, and stunning visuals. And with that, whether you're a humble merchant, a greedy hoarder, a cutthroat reaper, or emo, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a very pleasant day.